So as you all know, Blizzard announced a version of a Classic Plus called Season of Ascension. Season of Retail. Season of Discovery. So let's talk about it. The good, the bad, and the outright broken. So let's start with everything that's good. And remember that this is just an opinion piece. This is just my opinion. Yours may differ. Starting off with the good things. Taking chances. So Blizzard are taking chances. They're willing to take chances. It might not be exactly what we want, but it just shows that Blizzard is willing to move outside of the boundaries of comfort, where they may upset some people. But in the bigger picture, taking risks and chances is necessary to achieve the perfect Classic Plus. Secondly, open world events and world PvP. They're emphasizing world PvP and PvP in general. I feel like throughout most of World of Warcraft's lifetime, PvP has been a afterthought. But now that they are making a Ashen Veil PvP world event, I really like this idea. Let's just hope that their execution on it will be just as great as the idea. Thirdly, level caps like in the classic beta. But these were primarily the streamers and content creators who had access to the beta. But as far as I was watching it, it looked really fun, and I really liked the idea of capping it at a certain level and then experiencing the game from that point for maybe a month, and then moving the level cap to, in this case, 40, then 50, and then 60, so you actually get to experience the game at these increments. And I also think that this gives Blizzard an opportunity to balance PvP, but also PvE throughout the leveling process, not only at 60 with these new additions. Because if you only focus at level 60, something between 1 and 60 may be completely broken, but then at 60, it's perfectly balanced. But that still ruins some of the fun, and I feel like it ruins a lot of the fun in world PvP if you always end up against some class that you have no chance of beating, because at this level point it's just way too overpowered for you to even stand a chance against. So in this way, capping it at 25, then they balance it, making sure that everything is balanced at level 25, moving it to level 40, making sure it's balanced at level 40, and so on and so forth, would ensure that something doesn't go completely out of hand during the leveling process in terms of balance. And fourthly, a sense of discovery, of course, hence the name, Season of Discovery. Discovering new stuff. It's like back in the day, back in 2005, where we actually had vanilla. I think it's exciting for most people to get back into this theory crafting and figuring out stuff. It's great. That's what they did on Turtle WoW as well. Added Gilneas and added all these things, so it makes the game really interesting again. And the last one is adding new raids and dungeons, of course. It's in the same vein as a sense of discovery. So, but completely new raids, completely new dungeons, something we've never seen before. But I hope they also, and I think they will also implement, because we already know they're implementing the Karazhan Crypts. So that's a completely new raid. Items as well. And hopefully also new zones. Again, they did this on Turtle WoW. They added a completely new zone, Gilneas, recently. And the islands outside of the main continents, Tel Abim, which is actually also the name of their newly opened PvP server. At the end of this video, I'll link to a review that I made, so you can check it out if you want to. Now let's move into the bad stuff. What worries me about what Blizzard has done or may do. First off, the runes. Runes are over the top compared to talents and everything else. You feel broken without them and overpowered with them, especially if they don't intend to tune mobs in the world and raids or dungeons. I know they already touched a little bit. I wrote this before they actually, the news with them retouching mob damage and health to make up for the buffs that we are getting with the runes. But is it enough? And are they actually going to, imagine if every class can AoE everything down now, just like a frost mage? Aren't you going to trivialize the leveling process completely? Because some of what makes vanilla World of Warcraft so engaging and so interesting is the danger throughout the leveling process. The world is dangerous. They absolutely need to be on top of tuning everything to make up for the new power we're getting. And also, what if you don't find a rune? Let's say you're bad at discovering stuff, or just bad luck. Say you for some reason you don't get your runes. It's how do you balance them that? You'll get destroyed as a new player if mob health and mob damage is tuned to you having runes, but you don't have the runes. So you'll feel broken without them, and you'll feel overpowered with them. That's the first one. Secondly, PvP. Will it be a shit show? It will if it's not balanced. I'm not really sure that they're actually thinking about balancing these runes, because holy shit, that's one hell of a job if you want to balance all these new abilities that they've introduced. The PvP meta is probably going to be some sort of one-shot meta, because vanilla was not tuned for retail abilities, aka players not having enough health to handle it. So you could actually say, well, everything's going to be balanced because everyone will be able to one-shot everyone else. But yeah, I wouldn't really call that balance, because there's no room for outplay. If everyone can one-shot everyone, then what's the point? So let's hope they do something. And I hate the idea. I just hate the idea of introducing PvP items. Like, well, not PvP items, because you already have those, but a PvP specific stat. So now you have to, if you want to engage in both PvP and PvE, you have to have two different item sets. You have to have a set that you carry on you and equipped whenever you want to do PvP, because I need resilience. And then whenever you have to do PvE, well, you have another set for that. You have another set of gear for that. You're separating people who will like to do PvE and people who like to do PvP. So what I think it does is kind of split the community in two. So you have a PvE community and a PvP community, and I think that would be a shame. That's just my opinion on resilience and PvP specific stats. I don't like them. I don't think they have any place in an MMO like this. I think there should just be gear, and there should be better gear. You shouldn't have to carry around many different sets of gear. And lastly, specs will be homogenized and therefore feel less special. Because, for instance, when they gave druids the shaman's wind fury, and hunters are getting the paladins blessing of kings, and I think paladins are also getting the shaman's stat buffs. All these things, they are just making classes feel more the same. I think it's just important to make sure that you're not over homogenizing classes. Moving on to the outright broken stuff. Talent trees will feel weak, and there are still many broken and unusable talents and abilities. Runes will overlap with other talents, for instance Redoubt and the Aegis rune for paladins. These runes are creating even more useless talents, forcing people in even more cookie cutter talent builds. So let's hope they do something with talents as well. And here's a great example. So here we have the paladin talent trees, and if we just pick this one, gain the Aegis ability, increase your block value by 30%, and damaging melee and ranged attacks against you have a 10% chance of increasing your chance to block by 30%. Last 10 seconds of 5 blocks, not cumulative with Redoubt. So what is the purpose of this then? This is just a broken talent. So what they've done now is just create more bloat, more useless talents. Why not fix this one instead? Instead of implementing this one, why not just make Redoubt work the same way as Aegis? Because that's what they did in TBC. In the Burning Crusade, they just removed the necessity of a crit. Now it's not just a crit, it's just a flat out 10% chance. While in vanilla, it's every crit. Why would you as a paladin, if you want to be a tank, you want to be crit immune? So this would never proc in raids. But say you wanted to get this shield specialization, you'd have to pick this useless talent first, and you'd never tank without this one. So yeah. And also there are many broken talents like Vindication, like fix these things instead of implementing new things. Why not fix what's already here? Why not fix the broken stuff, the useless stuff, the stuff that people never pick? Add some more talents as well. Make it interesting, instead of just leaving it and saying, well, you're getting something new, right? Come on, Blizzard, fix the broken stuff before you start adding new stuff, right? And for the hunters, improved Arcane Shot. Like, why would you pick this one? Or Scorpion Sting, or just like, improved Scorpion Sting is useless talent, you never used it. You also never use Scorpion Sting. There's one niche use for Scorpion Sting, and that's in PvP. If ever you can only have one sting at a target at any one time. So if you place a Sail on a rogue, you shoot him with the Serpent Sting to make sure he doesn't re-enter stealth or vanish or something, because that'll pull him out of vanish. And then he gap closes you. He sprints toward you, and now you want to prepare a trap. Well, then you shoot him with the Scorpion Sting, because that will remove the Serpent Sting, so that you can place a trap, because the Scorpion Sting does not do any damage, so the trap will stay intact. But this talent is useless, and that's the only niche use there is for Scorpion Sting. They should have had it be an armor penetration sting. So for instance, Scorpion Sting reduces the target's armor by 600 or by so and so. That would have made much more sense. And also, what about Wyvern Sting? The problem with this one is you have to be out of combat. And there's also a 2-minute cooldown. So you'd always rather have Scattershot over Wyvern Sting. This is much more useful. This is a 30-second cooldown, and it does not require you to be out of combat. This requires you to be out of combat, and it's a 2-minute cooldown. And what about improved Serpent Sting? This is also a useless talent. Nobody picks this one, because what is this? This is 10%. 10% of what? 10% of 555. Let's do the math. How much extra damage do I get on my Serpent Sting? So I'm getting 55 more damage. Instead of 555, is now 610 damage. Wow, 5 talent points to get 55 more damage. This brings me into another rune I've seen. Here it is. Serpent Spread. Targets hit by a multi-shot are also afflicted by a Serpent Sting. For 6 seconds, you get on 3 targets. Let's do the math. So that's 222 damage. 222 damage on 3 different targets. Compared to this sniper training, gain 30% more critical strike chance while you have not moved for 6 seconds. And I bet this actually lasts after you move. So it's much like in Cataclysm. I think it was in Cataclysm where you had this sniper training. Here it is. And it actually, what it does is it lasts for a few seconds after you start moving again. And I also fixed Wyvern Sting here. It doesn't require you to be out of combat. It actually works here. And in Cataclysm you gained focus. Well, it's like, that makes a lot more sense. We actually had focus as hunters. We had focus in the alpha version of the game, just like our pets. But then they, for some reason, removed that and gave us mana. Should have kept that focus. Because why would a hunter use mana? He's not a wizard, it's a hunter. It's like a rogue uses energy instead of mana. Why would a rogue use mana? This is a useless. Unless they do something with Serpent Sting. Unless they start making Serpent Sting scale with attack power, scale in some way with anything, then maybe I can see this having some use. But the amount of damage you're getting from this is absolutely useless. And this is also from Cataclysm. And if you see in Cataclysm, it's right here. It gives you a 9-second Serpent Sting. But what they changed is when you use multi-shot in Cataclysm, it hits all targets in front of you. While multi-shot in Vanilla and TBC and Wrath is 3 targets. This is all targets. So there's a huge difference in the amount of AoE damage you can do. So yeah, unless they do something, this is also useless. I say this is also incredibly weak. Give the command to kill. Increasing your pet's damage done by special attacks. Only special attacks, not normal attacks. Just special attacks by 60%. For 30 seconds, which would actually be okay, like, but not really. But then here comes the nail in the coffin. Each special attack done by the pet reduces the damage bonus by 20%. So that's 3 special attacks, and then you're down to 0. So 3 special attacks, damage is increased by 60%. So let's again do the math. Let's see, special attack here, lightning breath, max rank. This is the pet from CG. This is the highest lightning breath. Is hitting harder than claw or bite or pretty much any other special attack. So this is the best case scenario. Look how much damage this is. 130 damage. How much is 60% to that? So that's another 78 damage. So in total, instead of 130, 208. Congratulations. And that's gonna get reduced for each time it does a special attack. They'd have to increase this to 300% for 30 seconds for it to be even comparable to sniper training. The only way that this would be any good is if they again do some scaling, make hunter pets scale with your stats or something, so that they actually do a little bit more damage at higher levels. But then that would make them completely overpowered while leveling. So like, yeah, this is 20% more stats. That's absolutely ridiculous. So 20% more agility, 20% more stamina, 20% more intellect. Holy shit. Now if you match this one with lightning reflex, maxing this one out is 15%. So you're getting 35% extra agility. If you combine these two, 35% extra agility. What do I have at max level? And with pretty geared, I'd say 510 agility. I could equip a few other rings and get a little bit more agility. 555. But let's just say it's 500, even number. And we add 35% extra agility. So now we are at 675 agility. That's an extra 175 agility. 175 agility is times 2, and then you get the attack power. So that's 350 extra attack power. What is my aspect of the Hawk is only 144 attack power. It's twice aspect of the Hawk. But there's a whole other problem in PvP with aspect of the line, because what are you doing in PvP? You're constantly swapping in and out of different aspects. What happens when you swap, like say, what happens when you get a Blessing of Kings? Because this is just Blessing of Kings. Well, you actually just create a gap right here. And then you have to regain the amount. So you're not really gaining anything. You're just making room for extra stamina. So you're losing health. Well, you're not losing health, but you're just creating a gap in your health bar. So swapping in and out constantly is not really, yeah. Yes, useless talent, useless talent. Useless talent, never being used, useless talent. This, absolutely useless. And this is like, also absolutely useless. Useless. Maybe a little bit of use. Make it 10% more instead of 6%. Very niche uses, but I'd say useless. Also, something that's never really picked. There are many things that you could add in the talent trees to make it more interesting and more balanced. I think my point is with all of this, that these runes are making the talents feel redundant, first off. And secondly, I think Blizzard should address the talents before they start adding new stuff. I feel like that would make a lot more sense and would fit in a lot more. But who knows, maybe that's the end goal somehow. Maybe they're just, I heard people say, throwing things at the wall, see whatever sticks. But then you have the problem that people are going to pick what's most effective. They're not going to pick what they feel like is most fun, because nobody will gimp themselves just because it's more fun to do. People will pick what's more effective, and if that's their measurement of what they should add in the game, then they're doing it wrong, because they're not really adding options. There will be cookie cutter things that everyone just picks over something else, and if Blizzard then thinks, oh look, everybody picks this rune, we should add that to the game. Well, we're picking the rune because we don't feel like we have any other choice. Not so much because we feel like it's the most fun to pick. And then my last one for stuff that I feel like is broken, if it is as I suspect it to be, is you will be carrying different sets of gear and constantly swapping between them mid-fight, even mid-PvP fight. Because you want to make use of different runes at different situations. So for instance, imagine a rogue. You're dueling some other guy as a rogue, and now you want to make use of, I don't know, some parry ability or something, because you're low on health now. So you blind your target. You wait 5 seconds to exit combat. Now that because I suspect you won't be able to change runes in combat, but that's not really a problem for PvP. Many have an ability like sheep or trap for hunters or fear or anything that they can use to and just remove themselves 5 seconds from the battle and not do any damage for 5 seconds, and then you're out of combat. And then you can swap. For a rogue, you're blind, then you re-enter stealth, sap the target, and then you swap runes or swap gear. If it's easier swapping gear, say you have 2 or 3 different chest items with each has a different rune on it. You just have to swap the chest, not even have to change runes or do anything that involves a cast. If they don't put some sort of limit on this. So you can't just swap items with different runes on them. Then you'll see this as a PvP meta. This will be a thing people will try to min-max the shit out of in order to win in PvP. So let's hope that won't be the case. All these things that I've been saying that I think are bad might not be a problem at all. But if they are, it's better to voice those things now than when the game is out and it's too late to fix it. If they realize, oh shit, we haven't thought about that, maybe we should do something about that. I hope this makes sense. If you like the video, give the video a like, subscribe, and that's it guys. Thanks for watching.